It may not seem important, but the exercises that you selected your workouts actually matter. Not only for science, but enjoyment too. Hi, I'm Kelsey Nanini, certified strength and conditioning specialist and certified nutritionist. I'm here to help you go from frequent gym goer to strong, confident, educated athlete. And that's why today I am here to continue our series all about how to create your own workouts to kick ass in your goals. Today we are going to chat all about the importance of properly selecting exercises within your workouts that can contribute to your goals. So there are two different types of exercises we're mainly going to cover. This is compound exercises, so your multi-joint exercises, things like deadlifts, squats, pull-ups, bench. And then we have your accessory movements, which are single joint exercises. These are things that are working smaller muscle groups, bicep curls, tricep pushdowns, calf raises, even some chest exercises and some glute accessory work. We also want to keep in mind core exercises. These are exercises that are directly loading the spine. Now, this is something that isn't always considered when we are thinking about designing an exercise program. We do want to load the spine to a certain extent, but there is such a thing as overloading the spine, which can contribute to an overuse injury. What this means is if we want to, going back to our goal of building lower body strength, side note, make sure to go back and watch the prior two videos, the introduction to the series and also the needs analysis video, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if we're talking specifically about building lower body strength, we don't want to be back squatting 3 times a week for 3 sets of 20 reps. Also, 3 sets of 20 reps of back squat sounds horrendous. Now, we also want to look at sport specific or goal specific exercises. This goes back to the SAID principle, which I have mentioned in prior videos. This is the specific adaptations to imposed demand. Essentially what this means is if you want to grow a muscle, you want to get better at a certain movement, you have to do said movement. You can't just hope and wish that you're going to just be a boss at back squats, but you aren't doing back squats. You're only doing goblet squats and leg press. Now, is there some carryover from doing a heavy leg press or a heavy goblet squat to being able to do a heavy back squat? Sure. But the movement pattern of a back squat is different from those two movements. So if you want to get better at it, you have to do it. Or if you want to squat heavier, you can't just be only doing sub-maximal work. Now, sub-maximal work absolutely works in growing muscle and also achieving more strength. But at some point you do have to squat heavy to be able to squat heavier. The other piece of this is muscle balance. We all know the example of the gym bro that skips leg day and only does upper body. He's the guy who's shaped like this. And when you look at his calves, you're like, but that could also be the muscle mommy who only does lower body. So she has 0 arm muscle to show for it and just a big ass. Is it BBL or is it muscle? If your goal is to build a lower body, specifically you want to build your glutes, you're not only going to work your glutes, you're going to work your hamstrings on top of your glutes, but you also want to throw in, you want to sprinkle in some quads as well to have an overall even musculature. Because if you're constantly doing a ton of leg movements and you're growing your posterior side, but you are completely neglecting your anterior side, there is a larger risk of injury, specifically having to do with the knees. If you have no anterior musculature, no quad musculature to support the integrity of the knees and the joints, you're gonna have sore, achy knees and you're going to be more at risk for injury, especially if you are a female who is already at greater risk for knee injury. Some other small details within exercise selection that are important to note. The first is equipment availability. You aren't going to program exercises that you don't have. So if you don't have access to a hack squat, don't program in a hack squat. My biggest pet peeve is when I have clients come to me that say my prior coach would program in exercises that I don't even have access to. I used to have a coach who would program in barbell work, but I worked out at Planet Fitness and I didn't have access to free barbells other than the preloaded ones. Or, you know, my coach would program in a bunch of stuff on the hack squat after I told her multiple times, I don't have a hack squat. I work out from home. So please, 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 for the love of all things, don't be the coach fucking up someone's program because you forgot the small detail that your client works out from home and doesn't have a lot of machines to work with. Please. The other piece of this is time availability. If you or your client has 45 minutes to train, please don't program in 10 exercises for them to do or for yourself to do. Keep it simple. And I promise you that if you program in 4 to 6 exercises to do with a lot of quality, you're going to see more growth, you're going to see more progress than if you were to do 10 half-assed exercises. And arguably, 10 exercises is too much as it is. That's just my personal opinion. I like to stick to my clients doing a good quality 4 to maybe 7 or 8 exercises a workout. And I only do up to 8 if there's like a superset of core work. To wrap up exercise selection, you want to select exercises based on obviously the equipment you have available as well as the time you have available, but also programming in about 1 to 2 compound lifts per session and the rest of them being accessory work. So about 1 to 2 compounds and 2 to 8 accessory exercises, just depending on what day it is and the type of exercises you are doing, as well as the type of volume, which we will discuss in a later video. That wraps up exercise selection. Feel free to move on to the next one, which is training frequency. I'll see you there.